Hello and welcome to BlueTube, where we talk all things blue. And today I'm going to be giving my transfer wish list for the upcoming summer transfer window. Throughout the entire last season, I've been saying constantly on my channel, this summer transfer window is going to be one of the most important transfer windows of our club's history. It's as simple as that. And it's going to be one of the most difficult ones because we are not going to be playing Champions League football. So it's going to be very difficult to attract some of the best players around the world. And I've compiled a huge list of players that we could buy, players that we should buy, players that we shouldn't buy. And the list is so big that I've decided, if I make one video, I could probably talk for hours about it. So I'm going to split it into three categories. First one, which is this video, you'll see in the title down below, defenders. Second one, midfielders. Third one, strikers. And in that last video, I'll just give a brief summary of the whole kind of holistic view of all the players that I want to buy. But today, let's begin with defenders. Actually, before we begin, you may have noticed I've omitted goalkeepers. And the reason for that is I am perfectly happy with our current goalkeeper lineup. We have Thibaut Courtois. There's been many doubts raised about him actually from Chelsea fans saying that he's not good enough or he's not what he used to be at Atletico Madrid. And maybe that's true. Excuse me. He has suffered some form, especially in this last season. Because I remember in the first season that he was here, in our title-winning season, he was a boss in the air. Every time the ball came in, I had 200% confidence that he was going to grasp it and just smother the ball. But he's been a little bit less, secure in that sense in the last season. But I still have full faith that he has the potential to become the next best goalkeeper in the world. And of course, we have Asmir Begovic behind him, who's a very, very great goalkeeper to have as our second goalkeeper. And actually, I can't remember his full name, but Emilio, who was the Italian goalkeeper, as our third goalkeeper, he's actually just left the club, I think. So we will need to search for a third goalkeeper, but that's not really worth going into, in my opinion. So I'm just going to let the club do that, and I'm going to get into the defenders that I want at the club. And when I make all these transfer wish lists, I'll just say this now. In my Antonio Conte video, which you can watch in my channel, I mentioned that the most likely formation that I think he will use is a 4-4-2 formation. So I'm going to be basing my whole transfer wish list based on a 4-4-2 formation. So for defenders, that's a 4 defender setup with 2 center backs, two full backs, 1 left back, and 1 right back. So that's the formation that I'm going to be thinking in my head. So let's begin. There are 2 issues that we have to talk about, or two issues, or two things. I don't want to call it issues, but 2 things that we have to talk about when it comes to, this whole defenders, the fullback position and the center back position. And I'm gonna start with the fullback position because I think it's so interesting, and it's gonna be a very, very fun debate to have with many people. It's been a debate that's been going on throughout the entire last season. Is Ivanovic good enough to stay, or do we replace him? Should we buy someone new in that right back slot, or should we not buy anyone? And it's a very, very interesting question. And I remember making a video way back in August of 2015 saying, I believe in Ivanovic. I think he is still one of the best right backs in the Premier League. And, that turned out not to be true, actually, to be honest. He went through about 3 months of being absolutely terrible, letting in goal after goal after goal, being caught up in terrible positioning, his slow pace being exposed by, he's been danced around by pacey wingers. And, I did doubt him in that time, in that Mourinho period when we were just descending game after game after game. I did have my doubts about him. But I think ever since Hitting came back, he's shown what he can actually do. He's shown that he's a pretty decent defender. And no one has said anything about him or raised any question marks about him ever since we started playing well again, because he stepped up his game, and it's as simple as that. And that's why Chelsea offered him a new contract, which there was a little bit of there were a bit of question marks raised at that from some of the fans on Twitter. But I think that was a great move by Chelsea to sign him on for another year, because I think he's brilliant. And you may you may know where I'm leading now. I think we should keep him, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And whether he plays as our first choice or not is the big question for me. Right now, we have 3 fullbacks, or 3 main fullbacks. Of course, we have younger players such as Ola Aina, who are trying to make it up there. But as far as I'm concerned, we have Cesar Azpilicueta, we have Branislav Ivanovic, and we have, what is his name again? I forgot his name. I'm completely blanking out. the Ghanaian player. I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot his name. Oh my god. Yeah, the Ghanaian. It'll come to me. But we have 3 left backs, and the Ghanaian player, which I can't remember the name of, he just came in last summer. He's only had his very first season at Chelsea, and he hasn't been given a lot of opportunities under Mourinho. And Hitting, to be fair. And under Hitting, he played a few games, but he didn't really get a chance to show himself. And the games that he did play, he had some incredible games. I remember in the Champions League against PSG, he was amazing. And then in like some Premier League games, he was awful. So he's very inconsistent, but I guess that's what you get when you don't play a game, when you don't play a player game after game. They're a bit inconsistent in that way. But I still think he's a quality player. We bought him for 20 million from Augsburg. That's a lot of money, and I don't think that we should be looking to buy any extra fullbacks when we already bought a fullback last season for 20 million pounds, just one season ago. So the thing is, if Ivanovic turns out not to be good enough, I think Azpilicueta is great because he has the versatility to be played at left back or right back, and he's just as good at both. I think if Ivanovic isn't that good, we can move Azpilicueta to the right hand side and then play, I can't remember his name, it's killing me guys, on the left hand side, the Ghanaian player. And I think we should really give him a chance at that left back spot to try to play game in, game out, to really see what he's made of. But I personally do think that Ivanovic still is good enough. I honestly believe in him. Maybe in those extra intense games where we need that pace, we don't play Ivanovic, but I have confidence in saying, I might regret this, but I have confidence in saying that Ivanovic will be our number 1 right back for the next season. And I have no problem with that. And I'm sure a lot of you are out there screaming at your screen right now saying, you're so stupid, but tell me in the comment section actually. I'd love to have this debate because I think it's a very interesting topic. But also we have to consider the opportunity cost of buying another right back. Let's say we spent 25 million pounds on a right back. Then that's 25 million pounds that we could have spent on a striker or a midfielder, which in my opinion are positions where we need much more strengthening. From a more holistic view, I think the main areas where we need to strengthen are strikers, holding midfielder, and an attacking midfielder. Those 3 positions, which aren't going to be mentioned in today's video, but I'm going to talk in a lot of depth about this in my subsequent videos. So I think any money spent in buying an extra right back is less money that we can spend or invest on a midfielder or a striker, which is why I'm reluctant to buy an extra fullback, especially when we have 3 quality fullbacks at our disposal. And of course, we can give opportunities to young players like Ola Aina, who wants to try to make it up there as well. So, if we do want to buy a right back though, and I'm mentioning this because he's being rumored a lot right now, and because he is Antonio Conte's ex-player playing for Juventus, Steiner may be an option if we do want to replace Ivanovic. And Steiner might be a bit cheap as well because he is 32 years old or something. He's quite old, so his value is quite low. He's a Switzerland right back who's played for Juventus right now. He's a very, very good right back, to be honest. But as I said, I don't think we need him. I don't think we should get him because any money we spend on him is less money to spend on a midfielder. Simple as that for me. But I know that this is a rumor that's being linked right now, and I don't think it's going to happen, if I'm honest with you, and I don't think it should happen. Now let's move on to centre backs. And I put John Terry's face here because I'm really considering what his role at the club is going to be next season. When he signed the contract with Chelsea, before he signed the contract with Chelsea, he made an Instagram post saying that he really wants to be at Chelsea, but he has to consider the role that he's being offered. And he never really went into much depth about it. He was quite ambiguous. But my guess is that he's not going to play game in, game out next season, unless he turns out to be incredible, which I'm really hoping he is, because I think he's an incredible player. I still think he's one of the best center backs in the Premier League, just to be completely honest. But anyway, in terms of the center back spot, we have John Terry, Gary Cahill, Kurt Zouma as our main 3 center backs that we can really rely on for every single game. And we also have Miazga, who is kind of a question mark, and I'll get into that a bit later. But within those 3, we have Kurt Zouma, who's brilliant. Of course, he's been injured for the last 2 months or something because he broke his knee, I think. And I think he will be fit to go, fit to play from next season onwards, so that should be fine. Gary Cahill, I think he's really hitting some form. I think he's been given the captaincy of England actually, which is a big role for him. So I think he's definitely ready to rock on at Chelsea next season. And then John Terry, as I said, I don't know what his role is going to be. I don't know if the board are more reluctant to play him because he's getting old. We might need to replace him soon, or they're thinking he's a great captain, he's a great leader, he's a great legend. We should keep playing him. My guess is that the board is more reluctant to play John Terry, and he's not going to get many games, which means that we are going to probably invest in another center back. And in my opinion, I think that we should invest in another center back, and here's my reasons why. Firstly, Kurt Zouma is injured, and it's not just specific to him, but injury is something that can hit any center back throughout any period, throughout any a time during the season. And if someone does get injured for, let's say, 2 months, as Kurt Zouma has been, then we're kind of screwed. We have Terry, we have Cahill, and then we have Miazga. And this season we've been okay because we for the last 2 months of the season we've really just been playing for nothing really. We weren't trying to chase anything. We just kind of played football, and it was okay to miss Zouma. But if someone is injured next season, a crucial center back player, then we're gonna be in trouble. Gary Cahill, I think he's brilliant. I think he's fine. As I said, Terry, question marks about him, and I'm really hoping that he's going to be as good as he has been for the last few years. He's always surprised us by stepping up to the plate, but who knows how he's gonna be. So I think it's worth getting an investment for another center back. But that does put into question this player right here, Matt Miazga, the US defender, the United States defender, 20 years old I think. We bought him this January, and I was very surprised to see why we bought him. It seemed very random, completely out of the blue. And yeah, you guys may have seen him play. He's similar to that Ghanaian left back that I can't remember the name of. He has had some great games, and he's had some pretty terrible games. In fact, I think there was one game where he got subbed off at 45 minutes. Which, as a center back, to get subbed off at halftime is a big blow for you. It just shows how bad you've been. But there's other games where he's been phenomenal. I think in his debut, I think it was against Swansea, correct me if I'm wrong, he was fantastic. So I'm very still mixed about him, but I honestly don't know why we bought him, because if we are gonna go for a center back, I think we should go for a player who's already established. I'm not saying necessarily old, who could be young, maybe like John Stones, or I'll go into them later. But we should go into someone who's already established as being a pretty good defender, because as much as we're looking towards the future, we are looking at the present as well. And I don't think Miazga fits the bill, and I'm so confused as to why we bought him. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out on loan next season, which that just blows my mind why Chelsea is buying players just to put them out on loan. Of course, we have a very famous loan policy, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go out on loan next season. But I don't really know why we bought him, honestly. I honestly don't. I don't know. That's just all I wanted to say. I don't know why he's there. But we should still invest in another center back. And one player that I just want to get out of the way is John Stones. Don't buy him. Please don't buy him. And if you guys have been with me since the start of, since like January in the last transfer window, I did these daily videos called Transfer Talks, where I talked about my views on any of the rumors and the players that Chelsea was being linked with. And of course, John Stones was being linked with Chelsea very intensely throughout the whole window. Eventually we didn't get him, and I was like celebrating when we didn't get him. But Everton rejected a bid of £45 million for John Stones last summer. That blows my mind. How a player like him can be worth £45 million. And of course he's English, he's homegrown, which plays a lot into that. But that just blew my mind. And I thought, if we're gonna pay any more than even £40 million, we should not even be looking at him. We should not be considering him. And surely, Everton is going to be holding out for much more money this season, especially with the new television. By the way, if you guys don't know, there's a new television deal with the Premier League where basically everyone in the Premier League is going to become rich now. So there's going to be much more money in football, especially in England. So they're going to be holding out for much more money. I don't think he's worth even 40 million. I don't think he's worth. If we could buy him for £30 million, then maybe I'd consider it. But what Everton are asking for is completely unreasonable, in my opinion. I don't think he's even that good. He's completely overrated. He's another overrated English player who's probably not going to be an incredible player in the end because the media has hyped him up so much. So I don't think we should go for him, basically. Maybe some of you disagree, but tell me in the comment section down below. Another player that I want to kind of get over is Rudiger. And Rudiger is someone we were linked with last summer as well. He's a center back who used to play somewhere in Germany, I can't remember. But he got loaned out to AS Roma for the last season, and AS Roma just bought him just like 2 weeks ago, I think. They signed him, and actually just after they signed him, he got injured and he has to go through surgery now, which might be a blow for him, a huge blow for him actually, because he can't play in the Euros, and a blow for AS Roma. So just wanted to say he's out of the thing. We can't sign him because he just signed for AS Roma. So if any of you were gonna suggest him, there's that to consider. Another player that's worth looking at is this player right here, Rafael Varane. We were linked with him slightly in the last summer as well. We were linked with a lot of centre-backs because Mourinho was looking to strengthen on our defense, which eventually we didn't do, which probably led to how bad we were and the whole board. Anyway, Rafael Varane, he has proven himself. He was actually brought up under Mourinho in Real Madrid when he gave him a chance to play, and he impressed everyone instantly. He was an incredible player. I still think he's a very, very good player, but he is going to be quite expensive. I wouldn't be surprised if he cost over 45 million, if he costs around 50 million pounds. And do we want to be spending 50 million pounds on a centre back? I think we have more pressing concerns than that. I think we have to invest more in midfield and our strikers, as I said already. So I don't think buying someone as expensive as him, regardless of how good he is, to spend 50 million pounds on a centre back, I don't think that'll be worth it. And another player with that was a spoiler alert. Another player, Marquinhos. He's been linked very heavily as well. Of course, the Brazilian center back. He's very, very talented, very, very young, just like Varane, just like John Stones, around 22-ish probably. I can't remember. I don't know his exact age. He plays for PSG, as you can see, and he's played against us plenty of times in the last few seasons in the Champions League, and he has proven himself. He's been very, very good. I was quite impressed with him actually when I saw him this season, and he's a very good player, and he's been climbing up the ladders, and he's a very young player with a very big potential, and that comes with a very big price tag. And I think it's going to be similar to Rafael Varane. He's probably going to cost us 40 million pounds, 50 million pounds, just because it's actually crazy how inflated the market is these days. To think that 50 million pounds is like not even that much money if you think about it, like considering relatively to other players, if that makes sense. But I think he'd cost around 40 million, 50 million pounds. To buy. So I don't think, for the same reasons why I don't want Varane, I don't want Marquinhos. Just too much money that could be spent on a midfielder or a striker. A player that I think we should buy, the player that goes into my transfer wish list, is this player right here. He is Bonucci. He actually played in Juventus from 2010 onwards, so he was there for the 3 seasons that Conte was there, so they know each other very, very well. He plays in the Italian national team. Conte manages the Italian national team. I'm sure they have very good relationships. And I'm pretty sure this has been a deal that's been very, very heavily rumored. And I really, really hope this happens. Bonucci isn't the young star that Varane or John Stones or Marquinhos are. He's actually 29 years old, which, to be fair, for a center back is still relatively young. He's still probably got 3 or 4 very, very good years left in him. He's actually a very good defender. He was part of that, as I said, for the 3 seasons that Conte was at Juventus. He was part of that incredible 3-back that got them so much success. And of course, he's still a phenomenal player now. Of course, Juventus has been doing pretty well since, and that's partly thanks to his brilliance being the center back spot. And to get him, I don't think it would cost 50 million pounds. I think it would still cost a lot of money though. I'm betting that we could snatch him for around 30 million pounds if we're lucky. Maybe 35, but I think 30 million pounds would be kind of a reasonable valuation for him, and that's still a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I think that is worth spending for someone of his quality, because our squad is actually an incredibly young squad, an incredibly unexperienced squad, and a squad that hasn't won a lot of things yet. They don't have that mentality ingrained into them. This is someone who has all of that, who has so much experience playing at the highest level. He's played in the Champions League final, he's won so many titles with Juventus. And he's a great player. He's 29 years old, as I said, so he's got a lot of experience under his belt, and he can bring a lot to the team. And also, he could have that relationship kind of link with Antonio Conte, just get extra boost and extra chemistry into the team. And of course, we know that he's suited for Conte's style of management, for his style of football, because he was, absolutely crucial to Conte's success in Juventus during the time that Conte was there. So basically, we should get Bonucci. I think he would be very, very good to have. I would celebrate if we bought him. So Antonio Conte, Roman Ivanovic, I can't remember the name, someone Granovskaya, whoever is watching this, if you have any, say over who we buy in the transfer window, please buy this guy. He is going to be brilliant. Please buy Bonucci. So yeah, and if you're watching this, Antonio Conte, just hi, good luck as well. But that's it, guys. That's it for today. That's all the players that I want to talk about. Basically, for defense, it's not that exciting. My main message is we should kind of be happy with the defense that we have, especially with our right back spot, especially with Ivanovic more specifically. We should be happy with him, in my opinion. Tell me if you disagree. And in terms of the center back spot, I honestly don't know what's going to happen to Miazga, but we should be looking to buy extra reinforcements in the form of Bonucci. He would be on my wish list for this transfer window. But guys, tell me what you guys think. Do we need another center back? Is Terry, Cahill, Zuma, Miazga good enough? Who knows? Tell me down below. I want to talk to you guys as always. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you guys later in my next video where I talk about the midfielders that I want to buy. And that is a very, very juicy video that I'm looking forward to making. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay blue.